the Stanford people that this was a wonderful yontif here. All of them, all the Yom Tovim were very nice. They enjoyed it.
I certainly enjoyed it, and I thought the atmosphere was fantastic.
Excellent.
And I encourage people to join in.
They told me about all the events that took place, and it was
we're moving in the right direction. I hope. Let's hope it
Hopefully.
continues that way.
hopefully.
And so on. Okay, so welcome to the new season of Shiurim. I suppose we can say, and to those who's that watching on Facebook. Oh, Tanya already. So we already have some people on Facebook. So that's why it's important. You know, people watch me as a. Anyway, so today, as you know, is Parsha's Noach. We've just started now. But the problem with bereshis is you don't get very much time to talk about bereshis because sometimes you get no days. If Sukkot is Thursday, Friday, which it can regularly be, then you have Shabbos bereshis straight away. So the Parsha is the Friday, and bereshis is the Shabbos, and you get very little time to talk about bereshis. And bereshis has loads to talk about. I call bereshis a dangerous parsha, a dangerous sedra. Why dangerous? Because people can get very bogged down in the creation of the world and all these things, and they can get very, people. And many people have written books that have been called heresy, and it's a dangerous topic. The Gemara will talk a little bit. The Gemara in the Gemara in Chagiga, chapter 2. That's, if you like, the esoteric Gemaras, which talks about the esoteric portion of Torah, the Maaseh HaMerkava, the Maaseh Bereshis. Doesn't go into too much detail what it is. It says you're not allowed to teach it with two people, because if one person could be sleeping, and the other person could be daydreaming, so, you have to teach it one by one. So there's definitely, no question, there is a hidden secret ideas of what is the creation of the world. Of course there is. But the problem is that even if you read, like somebody gave me a whole thing about, you'll see what we're going to learn tonight, that Rashi in the Gemara says the first days were 24-hour days. Rashi says very clearly, it's Chagigo Daf Yud Beis 12. Midas Yom Midas Laila Chav Daled Sha'os Bein Shneim. That the first days were 24 hours. Because some people say, well, the sun and the moon were not created till the fourth day. So maybe the first days were billions of years days, right? And that's how the world is so old, because it could have been the first days of creation. But Rashi quite clearly and the Ramban say no. They are real days as we know it. It's the real world and all this other stuff. So somebody was showing me from Dr. Schroeder. I don't know if you know Dr. Schroeder. You've heard of him from the Aish website, Gerald Schroeder. You've heard of him? He's supposed to be very famous. He had a whole thing about how time moves differently on, if you're on the light beam that's leaving the sun, it's like millions of years to get here, but if you're on the beam, it's much quicker than if you're waiting for So, again, there are lots of explanations, but the question is, do you understand them properly? And the problem is that if you try and understand everything yourself, all of a sudden you come up against something you don't quite understand yet, and that becomes a problem. And then people decide, it's all, and the more you delve into it, the more questions you have, the more difficulty it is. And the Gemara says very clearly, a person is not allowed to think what is above, what is below, what was before, and what will become after. Because, as it says here, Hashem did not put that knowledge into man. Right? I mean, if you think about it, would you create something that could understand you? And could, look, they tried. The end of this week's Parsha, they made the Tower of Babylon, right? To try and rise up against Hashem. Could you imagine if you gave them the knowledge about how Hashem works and how Hashem created the world? Can you imagine if you gave them all that knowledge, what they would have done with it, right? So it doesn't make any sense that Hashem would create something that you could totally understand everything. So you have to have a bit of what you call faith. And it says here, so we'll go through a little bit some as of what I like to call other things that are not directly related to the creation. But as I say, it's a dangerous parsha. We have to be careful. Yes, people were trying to talk to me on Shabbat, ask me all these questions. I say, look, it's not my area of expertise. I try and concentrate more. And I don't tell this to people to be rude to them. But I say, listen, there are so much areas of halacha. There's so much other areas of Torah that you can understand if you want to, and you can get involved in, that yes, get involved in those areas, but trying to start going crazy about Maaseh Bereshis is dangerous, right? It's dangerous. But having said all of that, I do want to say a few things. So the Gemara in, as I said, Chagiga chapter 2, starts off, Ein doishin ba'arayas b'shleisha, v'loi b'maaseh bereshis b'shnayim. Whoops, we have two people here, so we can't talk about it. You're not allowed to talk about the secrets of creation with two people. Oh no, sorry, echad v'hu. Rashi explains, it doesn't mean two people, because we're three. It means me and one other. So that's two. Why? And the Gemara will go into to explain as to why. Elim came only if this guy is a genius and he's really clever. So you get the idea that, you can't just, not that I'm telling you the secrets of massive bereshis, because I don't know the secrets. But you get the idea that it's something that you don't just talk about. The Gemara says, So having said all of that, the Gemara is just going to discuss a few things, which I'm going to discuss tonight. So there's a few things that I want to talk about. One is this light at the beginning of creation. So if you look on the first day, Hashem created light. That was what was created on the first day. Then something very strange happened. He saw that the light was good. Great, excellent. But then, also, the light is great. And then he separated. He made a separation. And God, Elikim. It's interesting. We might touch on this a little bit later. Most of bereshis is all Elokim, which is the name of Hashem that inspires din, harsh justice. The word Hashem does appear a few times with Elokim, but Yom Asos Hashem Elokim. But the word Hashem, I saw this by Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, my former boss, Lord Sachs, who wrote in the paper, that you only find Hashem on its own only after Adam calls Chava, his wife, Chava. He says, you are the mother of all humanity, I'm calling you Chava. Then you find after that, the word Hashem. But otherwise it's Vayas Hashem Elokim, Vayoma Hashem Elokim. Everything's Hashem Elokim, because everything now is all justice. Harsh, strict justice. But we'll maybe get into that later. So Hashem's got this light. He separated the light. So Rashi, we know Rashi likes to always explain things in the literal sense. Rashi himself says, chapter Gimel, the famous, I only come to explain the pshat. I only come to explain the basic pshat. So all of a sudden, Rashi, who only explains the basics, all of a sudden, he says, Af lezu tzrichim divrei Haggadah. We need to understand the drosha, a Gadaic interpretation. Why did Hashem split the light? What is it all about? He says, it's not right that evil, wicked people should use this light. And he separated, he separated for the tzadikim la'asid lavai. And therefore, that's why he split it. So the question is, why did Rashi have to have this big, deep interpretation? He doesn't come into big, deep interpretations. Why did he feel the need to say that? So one of the answers they give is because every time it says in the Parsha, Hashem saw it was good, was always the end. Nothing ever happened after Hashem saw it was good. I saw that the Shemayim was good, great, he left it that way. He saw the earth was good, he left it that way. Right at the end, he saw everything was great, and he left it that way. This is the first time Hashem saw something was good, and he decided, oh no, it's good, but I'm going to do something else. He should have said, God separated between the light and darkness, and God saw it was good. Why did he see it was good first, and then he did something about it? That's strange. So that's why Rashi says, because he saw it wasn't right that the Rishonim should use it. So the question obviously is, does that mean Hashem made a mistake? Wait. We're saying Hashem is perfect, right? We say, Lo ish kel v'chazev, like when Bilam, right? When Bilam in Parsha's Balak, right? When they tried to get him to curse God and curse the Jews, what did Bilam say? Lo ish el v'chazev, God is not a man that he'll lie. V'nedom v'yisnechom, he's not human that he changes his mind. Yet here, he created this light, and straight away, this is not right. I'm going to do something about it. So we have to understand, why did he create, what is this light? Why did he create it, and what did he change his mind? So the Gemara in Chagiga explains what this light was. So he says, the light of the Shiva B'nei bereshis, the light that Hashem created on day one, this light that we're talking about, Adam tzayfer by misayfa olam v'yad tzayfer. A person can use this light to see from one end of the world to the other. And since Hashem saw the wicked, evil people of the generation of the flood and the generation of the tower that he split open, and he saw that their deeds were evil and wicked, he hid it from them. Didn't say he moved it away, he hid it. What does hidden mean? If I hide something from you, if I take your cap and I hide it, the cap is still here, correct? The cap is still in existence, and you can find it if you want to. I've just hidden it from you. I'm not going to tell you where I put it. You have to go look for it. But you can find it. I didn't destroy it. It doesn't say Hashem destroyed the light. He hid it. Okay? So we're going to talk about what is this hiding all about. What is this all about? Who did he hide it for? What's it hiding, waiting for? Who's going to discover it? Tzadikim la'ased lava. The righteous in the time to come, they're going to find this. Okay. So basically, we have this light that you can see from one end of the world to the other end. So we can imagine this very, very bright light, right? The world is a massive place. And now I'll be able to say, oh yes, I can see all the way now in Australia now. It's so bright, I can see, it's great. What does this mean? So, the Maharal and others explain that this is not a physical light. This is a light, a spiritual light as we say. That when Hashem created the world, and Adam, as it says here, or whatever he could see, you were able to see everything. You were able to see the spiritual DNA of everything in the world. I could look at this tree. I could see Hashem revealed in this part of the world. I could see Hashem revealed in the other side of the world. I could see Hashem's greatness and his Kedusha. I could see all of that in the sea, in the Barents Sea in Russia, and I could look over there to Hawaii, and I'd be able to see God's majesty and all the mountains and the what do they have there? The volcanoes. Yeah. From one end of the world to the other, I'd be able to see Hashem's majesty and miracles. You know, they talk about religious spirituality. They talk about light, right? They talk about you've got to let the light in, the light of mitzvahs, right? Kiner mitzvah, the light of a mitzvah. For Torah, Torah is a light. Mm-hmm. So that's what Hashem originally wanted. He wanted this light to permeate the world, not a physical light that I can physically see from one end of the world to the other. But I will be able to see as clear as day, like I can see this here. I'll be able to see how everything in the world, how everything is happening, is from Hashem. It's His will, it's His right. I can see it perfectly. I know how it all makes sense. That's what Hashem did originally. Then He decided, no. This is not a good way of doing it. We'll talk about why he changed his mind in a minute or shortly. And he decided, I have to hide myself. Because if the Rasha and the wicked people could see everything on Hashem, and they would still be wicked, I mean, how's Hashem ever going to forgive them then? I mean, he brought the flood, he destroyed the world, and almost, and he destroyed people, and he destroyed generations, and that's when he was hidden. Can you imagine when he saw that these people don't care, these people want to fight me, these people are not interested in me and God and everything? Can you imagine if godliness was so openly revealed? How's Hashem ever going to forgive them then? How's Hashem ever going to, for want of a better word, feel good about himself? I can be done the kavsachos. It's not your fault. You didn't know, you can't see, you were blind. But if everything is so open, how is Hashem? So he realized when he saw all these evil people, I'm going to have to hide it. Didn't destroy it, he hid it, which is what we call nature, teva. Nature. We know that Hashem is called, this world is called olam. Olam is an expression of ne'elam, hidden. V'hu ne'elam mikol, we say on Rosh Hashanah, that God is hidden from everything. Hashem said, I'm going to hide myself. I'm still here, but I'm going to hide myself. Because if I hide myself, you've got an excuse. And if you've got an excuse, God has an excuse. Okay. They didn't see me. They couldn't tell I was here. They didn't know. I'll let them off. So he hid this light. He hid the spiritual light of the world behind this teva. Now, you know the Ramban, we've discussed it, says quite clearly, and the Sforno says when it talks about the sin that Moshe Rabbeinu hit the rock, it says he didn't cause a big miracle, or what that was about, that Everything that happens is a miracle. Every time the tree gives fruit, and every time the sun shines, and every time we breathe in air, it's a miracle. But these miracles happen regularly. They're called miracles that happen regularly, which we know as nature. Nature is a miracle of God every day, that everything happens through nature. But nature is the way that you can hide God. He hides behind nature. Yes, I'm rising the sun every morning, but you don't necessarily see me doing it. You have to look, you have to work for it. And that's why it's hidden. Hidden but not destroyed. If you work at it, the tzaddikim, oh yes, I see Hashem's hand in this. I see there's no way that I can have a world as beautiful as this without a creator like Avraham Avinu. That's why Hashem loved Avraham so much. We're living off that love, right? We're literally every day saying how we want the schus of Avraham. What was the great shtick of Avraham? And the question they say is, well, if Hashem loved Avraham so much, why wasn't he created first? And then you create Adam. Create that. The answer is because you have to go through the world the way it is. Deny Hashem, cause all this stuff, have Hashem's name so hidden, and then for Avram to find him, that's a big shtick. If Hashem created me, I say, hello. I mean, that's no shtick. I mean, I saw you, you created me. I was nothing, you created me. Of course I see you. So Hashem had to wait for Avram till the world was in such a desolate place, spiritually, that he was able to recognize Hashem through all this craziness, and that's why he loves him so much. Because, wow, you, after all this trouble and all this fuss that nobody believes in me and everyone was all these funny idols, and you stuck your neck out for me. That's why Hashem loved him so much, because he went out of his way. So that's what Hashem decided to do. No, I'm going to have to hide myself in the world. I'm going to have to hide my greatness until, of course, when Moshiach comes, in the time of Asid Lava, we say, V'hoya Hashem lemelech hakadosh b'yomahu yi Hashem echad u'shmai echad. That's when his name will be revealed. We'll be able to see him. The light will, what's the word when you come out of hiding? The light will reveal itself. It will expose itself, and we'll see so clearly. Oh, I see the spiritual DNA of the chair, and I see how God is everywhere. I see his energy, however you want to understand it. When Mashiach comes, the world will be like Hashem originally wanted it to. So then the question is, does that mean Hashem made a mistake? You're telling me Hashem's like, I'm going to do this, but no, it's not right. Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me Hashem made a mistake? No. So Rav Hutner, the great Rav Hutner explains like this. Hashem was trying to teach us a lesson in life. When we start something in Ruchnius, when we start learning again, remember we said that how do we get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Through the Torah. Torah is considered the light. We see that clearly when you start learning, you feel connected to Hashem, because Hashem is the Torah. And when you start learning like Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, you're connected to Hashem, you feel it, you can feel Hashem, you feel the connection. And Hashem wants you to know that when you want to start something, when you want to start doing something, I'm going to give you so much help. I'm going to reveal the light to you, and I'm going to give you a present. Then I'm going to hide it from you. And you're going to have to work at it. And we see that in life, don't we? That when people start, I'm going to start the Daf Yomi cycle. I'm going to learn. I'm going to come to Shachris every day. I'm going to start a new Shia. And when you start, you have that energy. Hashem helps you. The first couple of days, it goes. It's amazing. The light, Hashem reveals. That light comes out like it came at the first day of creation. And then Hashem says, okay, I've given you a taste. I've given you a little taste. Bye-bye. Now I'm going back into hiding. Now you work at it. You have to put the effort in. That's what Hashem did by showing you, I'll always give you the help. I'll always help you start. You want ruchnius, you want davening, you want something, I'll help you start. You do it, and then I'm going to review why. Because I'll give you the taste. You've had a little taste of something. Once I know what I'm working for, I had the wonderful candies. I want to go back to that restaurant again because I've had that taste. I've had that taste of it. I've had the feeling I want to go back. Unfortunately, Chas v'Shalom, we see that unfortunately with people who get addicted to things they shouldn't get addicted, right? Because they had that feeling, that was amazing, right? And they want to have it again, right? They want to go back. So that's what Hashem wants you to do. I'll give you the taste. I'll give you the taste of the kind of what you do when you start Rosh Hashanah. You're like, when people standing there in Yom Kippur, right? We all feel it, right? We feel it. And then Hashem says, okay, I'll give you the help, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and tonight, not that I'm Chas v'Shalom belittling Ma'acheshvan, but it's called Ma'acheshvan, it's bitter. One of the reasons why it's bitter is because it's the only month with no artificial help. So you have Tishri has the Yom Tovs, right? Cheshvan has nothing. Kislev has Chanukah. Teves has Chanukah. And Shvat has Tu B'Shvat. It's a day where, and then Adar has Purim, and then Nisan, and then Iyar has Pesach Sheni, and then obviously you have Shavuos, and then you have the fast days. They're not nice things, but they're days that you can do tshuva, artificial. And then Elul is obviously Elul. Cheshvan has nothing, right? What is Cheshvan, It's mar, it's bitter. Because Hashem gave you the taste, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, He gave you the help, and now He's gone. Right? Literally, He's gone. He's gone back home. He's back, He was a snowbird, very small snowflake, came visiting Rosh Hashanah, Elul, and now He's gone. But you got that taste. You got that taste, Rosh Hashanah, what it's like to be in shul, to feel it, right? We all felt it. Everyone says every year, like you came in, what a wonderful atmosphere we had. What is that? You're feeling the Kedusha. You feel a bit different. Each on their own level, right? Everybody feels, right? Why do you think you have so many people on Shul, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur that never come any other day? Right? The people that 1 time a year, 3 times a year, because their neshama feels it. They feel something, right? Am I right? They feel something. I remember Yom Kippur was pouring with rain for Ne'ilah, right? You remember because you came in the pouring rain. But yet people still came. If that was an ordinary year, an ordinary Shabbos even, nobody would have come in that downpour. But it's Ne'ilah. I got to be there for Ne'ilah, right? That's how you thought, right? I got to be there. I got to be there. Even though we had this terrible storm, it was unbelievable, right? I'm going to make the effort. And people came in soaking wet. If there would have been a normal Shabbos, they wouldn't have come, right? Biggest proof is the 3 times we didn't have a minyan throughout the summer, or the 3 times we had storms at the time of davening for minchas, whatever. But Yom Kippur, I've got to make that effort. I don't care. I've got to go. I'm fasting. I'm exhausted. It's pouring with rain. It's Yom Kippur. I've got to go. You feel that Kedusha. You feel it. And now Hashem is saying, I've given you the taste. Now I want to see if you can do it. I want to see. And it happens even in your own lives. And Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Elul, we feel differently. Some of the things that perhaps we would never dream of doing on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, because Hashem takes it away and raises us up, and then comes after Rosh Hashanah, and you're tempted again to go back to the old ways, right? People speak differently, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, but yes, Rosh Hashanah, it's Yom Kippur, it's Elul. I can't speak that way. I've got to be careful how I speak. But when now the test is, can you keep it? And that's what Hashem wanted to show. I'm going to start off with the light, and then I'm going to hide it, because that's what happens in life. You get the taste, I'll give you the help, and then I'm going to go. Bye. Let's see if you can really do it yourself. That's why we had after Pesach, when we left Mitzrayim, we were risen up the artificial levels from the 49th level of Tumah, spiritual deprivation, all the way up to the top. But then, did we get the Torah straight away? No. Hashem said, okay, I raised you up. Now you have 49 days, you're going to work at it, okay? Go work yourself, and then you come to Matan Torah, because you have to achieve it yourself. You have to put the effort in. You have to work. That's what the whole idea of this world is, that you have to put in the effort, put in the work. I mean, you think about nowadays, I went to Publix, I buy ready-made food, come home, it's great. But you think these people at the time of bereshis are there, oh, you want a piece of bread? Come back to me in 6 months. I mean, as soon as they got kicked out of Gan Eden, I was thinking, what did they eat? Maybe they still had fruit that was still on the trees. But, by the time they planted anything, by the time they got it all done, what did they eat? They weren't allowed to eat animals. So maybe there were plants that they could eat, I suppose. I don't know. But to have bread or any of these things, you had to wait months, right? And if you mucked it up, whoops, sorry, this recipe didn't come out well. This batch didn't come out well. I'll try again in next year. I mean, that's why I always think maybe that's why they lived so long. He lived 900 years, 600 years, because it took them so long to do anything. So that's what this light was. That Hashem put this light away, but He wants to show you, I created it, it's there, it will help you, and then it will disappear. So that's a bit of idea of this light. So now there's another Gemara, which we'll talk about. Says, Adam Harishon min haaretz ad l'rakia. He was as tall as from the ground all the way to Shamayim, right? How many miles is that? A lot, right? Can you imagine how many feet tall he is, right? Another expression says, no, he was as tall as from one end of the world to the other. Sheneman min hayom asher borakim Adam al haaretz The pasuk in verse Chanan said, the day you created Adam, referring to Adam Rishon, on the earth, from the ends of the heavens to the ends of the heavens. So you see from earth to heaven, right? It's using your drasha. But after Kivin Shestarach, after he committed the sin, Hashem put his hand on him, because you look in Psalm 138, I think it is, called Lamed Ches. That's the tefillah that Adam Rishon said after the sin. And it says that basically you squashed me. You put your hand on me and you squashed me after I did. It says, where can I hide from God? Because he tried to hide from God, right? And where can I fly off to escape from you? Right? Like he tried. You know, as they say, if he was so tall, how could he try and hide from God? I mean, you know, it says that he tried to hide. Where was he going to hide? If he's as tall as from here to the sky, where was he going to hide? He was going to lie down somewhere, goes, I can still see you. I mean, you know, what was he going to do? So, of course, the Maharal says this is not literally, he wasn't 500 feet, 1,000, 7 miles tall or whatever it is. But it means that... So the Maharal, I've got a note on the side of the Gemara. The Maharal in Gur Ari explains that it means Adam was the whole world. It means he was from here to the sky, or from one end of the world to the other end. Hashem was trying to say, I created the world for you. This is why you were created. For Adam, for man, you have the ability, you have the power, through your actions, through your Torah, through your mitzvos. That is the whole point of why I created the world, is for you. And as the Mesilas Yesharim says, the whole point of the world was for man. But after the sin, Hashem squashed him, because you no longer have the same power to achieve what you could have achieved before. I.e., he lost his height and his neshama, and he lost a lot of the ruchnius. He lost a lot of the ability he had before. The whole world was one end to the other end. The whole world was for him. All the spirituality was his, right? You could have gained. I mean, that's why, especially in Kabbalah or Chabad, they talk about Hashem took Adam's soul and he smashed it into 6,000 pieces, and it all went to different parts of the world, different sparks of holiness into everything, right? That's what they say. So till before then, Adam Rishon was the whole world. Everything was him. He could have achieved what he wanted, when he wanted, how he wanted. But after the sin, then he was squashed. He was made smaller, and therefore he was not able to gain the same spirituality as he had before. So that's what it means he was tall. It wasn't necessarily literal. However, there is a medrash, and Rashi in Sanhedrin quotes this Gemara a bit differently and says that he was from one end of he was from the floor to the sky, and Hashem squashed him and left him 500 amas tall. 100 amas tall. 100 amas tall. So that's what, 150 feet or 200 feet, depending on which opinion you have. So, that's like a giant, right? So he was that's a little bit more, not chas v'shalom believable. That's not what I mean, because if we take, people say this Gemara is literal, he was created that way, then it means literally. But at least it's, but it means he was squashed, his spirituality was squashed, and he was not able to gain as much spirituality as he could. Again, the Gemara a little bit later has a fascinating debate between Hillel and Shammai. Where is it here? Tanu Rabbanan. This is Chagigo Daf Yud Beis, right? Where the Gemara talks about the massive bereshis. Beis Shammai Oimrim, Beis Shammai say, Shamayim Nivru Tchila. The heavens were created first. V'achakach Nivra Zaretz. Afterwards, the earth was created. First heaven, then earth. Shenema bereshis Bara Kimes HaShamayim v'Zaretz. First, God created the heavens and the earth. So first was heavens and the earth. Beis Hillel say no. First, Eretz Nivras Tchila. Earth was created first. V'achakach Shamayim, and afterwards heaven. Shenema, their pasuk in the second chapter. B'yoyim asayis Hashem alikim Eretz v'Shamayim. On the day that Hashem made the earth and the heavens. So you have two contradictory pasukim. Shammai say, the world, heavens were created first. And Beis Hillel say, the earth was created first. Beis Hillel said to Beis Shammai, wait, you're saying first of all you build the upstairs and then you build the downstairs? No, first you got to build, you start from the bottom up. So Beis Shammai retorted, What? First you make the throne and then you make the throne afterwards. It's this whole thing. They go backwards and forwards. The Chachamim say, no, they're both created at the same time. So the question is, okay, very nice. What is going on over here? Yes, the heavens were created first, the earth was created first. We're having this machlokas. You build it upstairs, you build it downstairs, you build the palace steps, and then you build the throne. What is it all about? What does it mean? First of all, does it really make a difference? I mean, who was created? All right. If you look at the days, you had Shemayim was on the first day, and Eretz, or Shemayim was the second day, and Eretz was not till the third day. But the Gemara says earlier that they were all created on the first day. They were just put in their places. Anyway, the whole thing. Again, these are the things that are difficult to understand, and we don't want to delve too far into them. So what is this machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel? The earth was created first, or the heavens was created first? So that goes back to what we were saying. What is the point of the earth? What is the point of Hashem creating the world? Did He create it for Shamayim? Did He create it for heaven? Or did He create it for earth? So what does that mean? So I saw a pshat from saw in a shir by Rabbi Sonnenschein from Lakewood, and he was quoting the Tzaddik HaKohen, who was a big rabbi in the last couple of generations, of Tzaddik HaKohen, and he explained like this: earth is the idea of struggle. Heaven is the idea of perfection. Achievement. Perfection. And what Beis Shammai was saying was, the whole point of this world is for perfection. You don't care how you get there, that's not the point. You've got to get there. Shamayim, heaven, spiritual achievement, spiritual bliss, that's the most important. You've got to get there. No questions. Everybody has to get there, that's it. End of story. Hillel saying no. Eretz is what's important. Struggle. Not everybody can get to achieve perfection. Not everyone can get to Shamayim. Not everyone can achieve what they're supposed to achieve in that sense. But you got to try. What's that song go? It's not about how fast I get there. It's not about what's waiting on. It's about the climb. You've heard that song? Or however it goes. Anyway, one of these modern songs, right? It's not about the end result. It's about the journey. And that's what Beis Hillel is saying. It's about the journey. So you mess up. You do Aveirus. Okay. I mean, not okay, but right? We'll do tshuva, we'll move on. Okay, it's about the journey. You can gain so much through the journey. It's about Eretz. Even if you don't get to Shamayim, even if you don't finally reach your destination, but you try. You went along the way. Every little struggle, every 5 minutes, should I do this, should I do that? You wait, you hold back from talking in shul for even 20 seconds. That 20 seconds of struggle is in Hashem's eyes fantastic. Shammai says, well, you still spoke. You still, you still did it. So it's pointless. Because the end result was that you spoke in shul. But they said, no, you held out for X amount of minutes. That's great. That's fantastic. You were able to control yourself. So that is what this machlokes is. Is Shamayim created first? Or is earth created first? And he goes on to say that, we have two other machlokas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, similar things that he wants to link. One is, there's a machlokas about, was it good that we were created? Right? There's a Gemara, Noach lo Adam shloi nivro. It would have been better if you weren't created. It would have been better if, Beis Shammai said, it would have been better if you weren't born. Because he looks at perfection. Right? And unfortunately, from the moment you're born, you lose that perfection, right? You were a nice, pure soul, you've lost it. And most people, unfortunately, don't get it back. So the way Shammai looks at it, and his view is, if it's all about perfection, it's all about the finished article, then it's better you weren't born. Because most people don't get there. Most people don't achieve what they're supposed to achieve. But Beis Hillel say, yes, it is good that we were created, because for them, they're not looking at the end goal. All right, you might not get there, but every struggle. Look at Avram. Why does Hashem love Avram Avinu, we said? Because he was able, amongst all this craziness, to be able to see Hashem. So it's about the struggle. So even if you don't get to perfection, you don't get to Shamayim, you still tried, that's good. And think about now this week's Parsha, Noach. We have this debate at the beginning of the Sedra. Eile told us Noach ish tzaddik. Can you imagine? The Torah says about Noach, he was a tzaddik. Halavai, the Torah would say about me that I'm a tzaddik, alright? The Torah says he was a tzaddik. Can you imagine? But yet we have a difference of opinion. Was he amazing at tzaddik or not? According to one opinion, yeah, tzaddik, of course. If he was a tzaddik in this generation, if he would have been in a holier generation, can you imagine how amazing he would have been? And some people say, no, he was only a tzaddik compared to them. He wasn't really great, but he was better than them. So connected to, compared to his generation who were thieving and stealing and blaspheming and committing all adulteries and everything, he didn't do those things. So for that, he was a tzaddik. But if he would have been in another generation where you had all these wonderful people like Avraham, he would have been a nobody. Right? You would have known him, right? Because he would have been then considered one of the lowest things. Again, that's what Beis Shammai say. Beis Shammai are the opinion of, but Noach, you might be a tzaddik in this generation, but if we look at the overall picture, no. Are you Mr. Perfection? No. So, yeah, you might be a tzaddik, but you're not really a tzaddik. But Beis Hillel was like, so what? His generation are so terrible. Right? So bad that Hashem is going to destroy all of them. And he's able to control himself. He's able to resist all those temptations. So what? He's not learning all day. So what? He's not one of the greatest tzaddikim that's ever existed. But he's not doing some of the things that are terrible that the other generation are doing. He's in the struggle. He's there in the game, right? He's in the game. And therefore he's, I remember I used to play a lot of soccer. So when I first started, I wasn't very good. So we used to lose a lot. So some people will say very harsh, you lost. And I used to go, well, we battled hard and we won for 20 minutes, we didn't let in any goals, or we won the second half, but we lost the first half 10-0, so we lost the whole game. And people are like, you lost. Right? So Beis Shammai like to see the end result. You lost. Okay? I don't care. You lost the World Series. Finished. I'm going to look at the results. Whereas Beis Hillel are like, okay, let's see what player ratings you got. Okay, so you lost, but what was your rating? How did you do? Did you play well? Did you put in your effort? That's what Beis Hillel are like. And then they say the similar thing is with Chanukah. We have this debate about whether we should light on the first night 1 light, 2 lights, the second night 3 lights, going up to 8, or should we start at 8 and go down to 1? So Beis Hillel is what we do, go from 1 up to 8. Beis Shammai say, start at 8 and go down. Why? So the Rabbi explains. Because for Beis Shammai, everything's about perfection. So we want perfection straight away. So we start with 8 because that's the goal. Let's get perfection straight away. All right, so we lose the perfection, but I want the perfection. Whereas Beis Hillel like, no, we got to build up. We can't get to perfection straight away. It doesn't matter even if you never get there. You've finished already after the 4th night. You've run out of your candles. But every night you're trying a little bit more. Today I'm going to do 1. Tomorrow I'll try 2. Next day I'll try 3. It's about the struggle. It's about continuing. And he finally finishes off with, the famous story about these Gerim who came to Hillel, to Shammai. Said, will you make me a convert standing on 1 foot? And Shammai said, no, get lost. And he came to Hillel. Hillel said, yes. The other guy, one guy says, make me a convert on condition I can become the Kohen Gadol. Shammai goes, well, you can't be the Kohen Gadol. Don't be so stupid. And he kicks him out. Hillel goes, yeah, well. And the third one was, what was the third one? He make me a convert, I think, if I don't believe in the Torah Shebaal Peh. Whatever. And then the Gemara finishes it off, says, Ali he Rabson Kashamai. Don't be like, literal translation is a captain Kashamai. Don't be so angry and aggressive like Shammai. But you should be calm like Hillel. So the question is what? The Gemara is now trying to slag off Shammai. What? Oh, don't be like him. He's terrible. This is the great Shammai we're talking about, right? The Gemara also is, the Gemara is going to start slagging off everybody. Oh, he's terrible. He's got these terrible middos. Oh, we don't want him. What the Gemara is saying about Shammai, one of the greatest, don't be as a... So Hun explains like this. These middos are wonderful middos. Shammai was straight. And you deviate, I don't care. I'm not interested. You've got to do what's perfectly right. Justice. Mishpat. Perfection. If you deviate, standing on 1 foot is a nonsense. I'm sorry, goodbye. You don't believe it? I need perfection. I need to be perfect all the time. Right? Like some of the people in the shul. It's got to be done the way it is. Finished. It's got to be done the way it is. No deviation. No nothing. Right? That was Shammai's captain. Whereas Hillel, okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as the expression goes. All right? So it might not be so perfect. He's standing on 1 leg. Or he doesn't want to believe in everything at the start. Okay, I can work with you. I can try, I can impress things upon you, and eventually we'll get there. And that's why in nowadays halacha, we paskin like Beis Hillel, because Beis Hillel is usually the more lenient opinion. But we say that when Mashiach comes, we're going to paskin like Beis Shammai as a more strict opinion. Why? Because really we should follow Beis Shammai. The strict, you've got to do what's right. I don't care whether it's difficult. I don't care. I'm not interested. This is the halacha, you've got to follow it. But unfortunately we can't do all that. So the halacha is like Beis Hillel. We had the Baskel came out, we must paskin like Beis Hillel, because we want to make it easier for people. We're not at that Shammai's level where everything has to be perfection. And that's basically what the Gemara goes on to discuss a few other things, but that's what it goes on to say about why Shemayim or Oretz, what is the main goal? Is the main goal the Shemayim, the perfection, to be there already, or is the main goal the journey? And I think as just having been through Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where we spoke so much about continuing, even though we've not necessarily lived up to the way we should have lived up, is definitely something that, and the Chachamim, they say no, they were both created at the same time, because really you've got to have the perfection, right? Because that's the aim, but unfortunately it's not always possible, so it's about the journey. So that's the whole point of life. Hashem created the light, He'll give you the light, He'll help you, but at the end of the day you've got to work for it, He's got to hide it, you've got to search out the Torah. Right? The Torah has got to be something, the Torah is a light. That's why when people learn Torah, they come to a shir, they feel uplifted, they feel connected, because you feel that spirituality. That's the light that was created on the first day, that's permeating for the world, that you have to, it's like radio waves. Radio waves are flying everywhere. If I take out my antennae, I can hear them all. If I don't put on my antennae, I can't hear it. So the same with this. If you don't open up and tune in to the waves of light that are going down, then you'll never see it. If I close my eyes, I won't see the light. You've got to open it into the Torah. So in that zchus and in that merit of us taking on and appreciating that, may we all see the light revealed speedily in our days with the coming of Mashiach. Amen.
Chazak, Rabbi. Very good.